It's that time of week, guys, where we play Trash or Grab, the game where we check the weekly and golden events to see are the items worth grabbing or are they absolute trash. Hey, it's Dan, and welcome to Unified Gaming. So we're over on the live server, and you'll notice that it is the Vengeance campaign, as is the gameplay in the background. This time round, however, the golden vendor finally works, as Zos have done it. We're going to go through the vendor and talk about what it all means, but if you want to see this campaign and how it works, I do have the video already, and I am going to be streaming it tonight at 9 PM UK, so do jump there. For the golden vendor herself, you can find her in Cyrodiil. She's in Northern High Rock Gate if you're on DC. If you're on the yellows, it's Western Elsewhere Gate, and if you're on the reds, it is the Southern Morrowind Gate. As always, her stock does rotate week on week, so if you are watching in the future, things will be different. This is recorded on the 6th of the 12th, 25. And if you like this series, do like and do subscribe while you're there. And I just want to do a big shout out to all the members who support. If you want to support the channel to get access to videos early, exclusive builds and guides, there's details down below. This week she said in a range of different things, and some of them are a bit mid in all honesty. One, however, is pretty good and I'll grab this definitely. We have the Aelid Refuge set, where whilst blocking an attack, it reduces damage taken by 11% for 3 seconds. It's pretty bad. This isn't going to be used much in all honesty, so skip this. You can have Dagon's Ring. This is pretty good for bombing, so if you're in Cyrodiil and you're trying to do AoE damage and trying to kill people, this is fantastic. Now with the Vengeance campaign you can't obviously use this just yet, but it's a very good set for AoE builds, so do consider getting this if you want that kind of AoE playstyle on a bomber. You are going to probably use something like Shatter's Fate in all honesty, but it's really comparable damage wise, so this is really worth considering. We then have the Glacial Guardian set. This is a really fun set, like thematically. As for its actual effectiveness, it's not that good. When you block an attack, you tether to the enemy, and whilst you're tethered, you do frost damage to them every second. If other people touch it, they take more damage, and you also have status effect chance increases. This is basically like a Warden set in all honesty, where you're trying to use this Ice Warden build, and proc the shield status, which they get some boosts with their passives. It's a bit like clunky. It's meant to be a tanky set for damage, but it doesn't do damage, doesn't tank. It's kind of a bit of a weird one, so I'd skip this personally. We then have a Steedfar's Metal. This set, if you have a food buff on you, it reduces the cost of all core abilities by 25%. You're probably going, what is a core ability? This is basically sprint, roll, dodge, break free. It's not your actual skills, it's all the other stuff. So because of that, it's not that good. You could just use other sets. And it's also worth stressing that these things do have, yes, it has a cost reduction here, but if you keep spamming roll dodge, it increases each consecutive one. So this blight gets negated very, very, very fast. You might get an extra roll dodge. You're probably going to be better just running a different set that gives you sustain to just help with all situations, not just roll dodge. We then have the Grand Wolf set. Now this is a shoulder set, and I always favour shoulder slightly more than helmet, simply because you need keys, and if you don't like PvE or you don't want to do dungeons, this is quite good because you don't have to RNG it. The set itself, when you deal critical damage, you restore magical or stamina, and it's 625. You also gain 330 off the other resource. It's a sustain set. It's not terrible. The problem is the cooldown is quite high, so from a let's reduce our sustain or our stuff, you can just run better sets, and there's actually a better set that does this, which is Magma Incarnate. The one piece is 124 magic and stam recovery, which is fantastic, and you get this every 2 seconds, so in the 5 seconds you'd have 250 roughly. You can already see you're almost at the similar amount, it'd be about 330 roughly, so you're only getting a bit extra, and that's just with the one piece. So if you just put on this and Baron Thrisk, you're going to get more sustain than using the full Grand Wolf set at all times with no condition. So for that reason, I would probably just skip Grand Wolf and just run one Magma, one Baron Thrisk. You'll get better sustain overall, and you don't have any proc condition. Magma itself, however, is a fantastic set for PvP and PvE. If you are playing as a tank, this is really, really good, but the issue is that you often want to run Sport of Ruin, which is a mythic item, and that is on the shoulder, so you can't use this if you use it as a tank, but you could use this for a damage dealer. The 2-piece is when you heal people, including yourself, you get Minor Courage, which is a damage boost, and Minor Resolve, and you can apply this to other people. It is fantastic. It's a really, really, really good set. So PvP wise, fantastic set. PvE, really good support set. So I would suggest buying this. And you'll see I don't have one piece, so I'm going to buy the other two in just a moment because they are so good. We're now going to go through and we're going to check the other vendors this week as part of what we do. And as you've probably gauged already, this is always focused on a PvP perspective primarily, but I do touch upon PvE where appropriate. And if you want to see more like gameplay and stuff, I do actually have some builds and guides coming to the channel, so do subscribe to see that. And I will be streaming on YouTube at 9 PM UK, showing the Vengeance campaign and really testing different things, because there's a lot that's changed and there's a lot of improvements. Our first place we head on to is the Infinite Archive. In the Infinite Archive, we come here for mainly one thing, and it is the leads. This vendor has a rotating stock that's Tuesday to Tuesday, and the leads they sell vary. But if you want to stay up to date with the series, do subscribe, because there can be some really good things in here from time to time, and you don't want to miss out on those. The vendor itself is Fire All, and he sells the following things. You got a lead for the Rakat's Void Mantle set, and you also have a lead for the Esoteric Environmental Greaves. These are both really good mythics in their own right. So the Void Mantle set is a new mythic, it's a shoulder piece, and it basically buffs heavy attacks. That's what this does. So I would really, if you're into a heavy attack build, it's not bad. I actually use it in PvP. So I actually have this item and I'll show you. If you go to your collections, you can see it in the antiquities down here. And what this thing does is it gives you just a huge amount of bonus damage. So it's just here. So it increases your damage done with non-ultimate heavy attacks. So basically, if you're not using an ultimate, like Overload, you get a 50% damage boost, which is fantastic. It is so strong, you can use this on heavy attack builds. And the only drawback is when you do this, you don't get to sustain it anymore. But when you light attack, you get the resource instead. So it basically turns your heavy attack sustain and gives it to you on your light attacks, which is really good if you're on like a bow or high mobility build where you're rolling a lot, because your constant light attack weaving is going to give you a ton of sustain. It's 430 sustain every single time, and if you do this every second, this is 800 regen. It is a fantastic set. The drawback is obviously you can't heavy attack for sustain and you lose your monster piece, so that can be an issue here, but it's really good. And I use this on a heavy attack PvP build because a 50% damage boost to something like Sergeant's Mail is stupidly broken. So, there is actually a video on the channel that shows this, and it is obscene. So, this is very fun. Is it the most OP one? No. As for how do you get this, you can actually get this lead quite easily. So, this normally drops in the Northern Elsewhere region, and you just have to go into a public dungeon. So, I would probably avoid buying it. It's a good lead, it's a good mythic, but it's quite easy to farm. We then have Esoteric Environmental Greaves. This is quite a cool one. Now what this does is you basically take stamina, and each time you get hit you lose a bit of stamina, but you get a lot of damage reduction. So good. The problem with it though is that some of these are actually quite hard to farm, and also you need to build around this set. So if you don't have sets to build around it, you are going to run into some kind of awkwardness. For the actual one itself, this one comes from the Forgotten Waste Public Dungeon Group boss, so again it's quite an easy one to get. And the mythic itself, I'm still farming one of the pieces because of RNG, but when you take damage and you're above half your stamina, you get a 50% damage reduction. What this basically means is it's like having block. Now there are some things you can do, and I have done this on some builds where you can get like 7,000 stam regen, and this is always on. So what that actually means is that you just have a flat 50% damage boost, like you're always blocking, which is stupidly good. And this also stacks with block, so you can be like super tanky. I found from actually playing around with this a lot that around 4,000 stam recovery is like the sweet spot. Anything over that is a bit overkill in all honesty, and that will give you enough stam sustain to benefit from the set heavily, but also be able to roll dodge and CC break when you need to, so you won't ever get like locked in place because of the stam being drained constantly. And this really makes you tanky. I have this on PC NA, this is recorded on PC EU, but it's so good. The rest of the stuff in the vendor this week are a bit mid, in all honesty. We've got a mask style, and we have some scripts. So you've got brutality and sorcery, they're not great. Uncertainty, not great. Pull, you can get this easily anyway. And War Mage's Defense, not great. So I would skip all of these. We then hop on over to the Scholarium in Avea. This is part of the Gold Road DLC, and this is free in the base game, so you should have access to this if you're new to the game. And this allows you to make essentially custom skills or modify them to get your own effects. It's really cool. It can really make a difference with subclassing especially. Once you get inside, you want to go through the door, and you'll notice that there'll be like 5 wings, so little like animals. Now, in order for the vendor to appear, you have to complete the first one, and the deer has to glow. Now, I have a video about how to do this and how to get loads of these scripts, which are fantastic, but to get the vendor, you need this one done. So if you haven't done it, do it. It will really help you out, and this works for all characters once done once. Little tip is do all of them, then you can get leads from any source. Lots of people get confused with that and don't understand it, and it's not clear, so just do that. When we get to the vendor, he's called Fernando. He's down in the far east. He always sells these grimoires. These are just like the books or the skills, and these scripts down here do change. So he has Courage, Class Mastery, and Fencer's Parry. Courage is fantastic. This is so good. You can put this on Banner Bearer. So I'm going to use my Superstar, which is super good. It's an add-on, and you can actually use the Scribing Simulator to have a look at all of them. On Banner Bearer, if you put on something like Shock Damage, it increases all of your direct damage, that's just a 6% damage boost. And then you put on something like Cavalier's Charge, which gives you more damage for your speed. And then you put on Courage, this skill will give you 900 weapon and spell damage. It is obscenely strong, and this is obviously after the percent boost like Brutality and Sorcery. So this is about a 900 weapon and spell damage boost, plus a 6% damage boost. So it's a huge amount of bonus damage. You have to obviously double bar this typically if you use it in PvE, because you swap on bars often, and same in PvP, but it has a lot of good uses. And that Courage is very nice. We then have Taunt, which is PvE, and we have Fencer's Parry. I'm going to buy a few of these Fencer's Parry ones. You'll notice it's 12k. If you don't know it, it's going to be 60k. It's always 5 times the cost, so if it's a bit high and you have 2 characters, buy it once, switch character, and then buy it cheaper. It will save you a lot of gold. And this one, it did have quite a few nerfs, but it works primarily on the sort of melee ones. So on Smash, for example, you could use it as a spammable with bleed damage, and you can put on Fencer's Parry, and put on Breach. And what you end up getting is a skill that will bleed, and the parry deflects the next damage attack made against you within 3 seconds. It has a 3-second cooldown. What this basically means is every 3 seconds you ignore 1 hit. So this could be really good if you're fighting like a duel and you use this regularly as a defensive, because you're going to take 30% less damage. It's really strong. So the base skill is pretty mid, but the actual effect's very good, so it can have some uses. And you've got things in like Shield Throw where you can have a few uses here. So again, it does the same thing. So there's a few things you can do with this. But that's the vendor here. I would suggest, and I do this often, if you have a banker, pull them out, take some of your money, and then what you want to then do is buy a couple of the ones you like. So I'm buy one. I can't buy any more, you say, right, let me buy it because I have it on me, but I can put it in the bank. So then I normally just do script, and I deposit them, and I buy another one. And I repeat this a few times, so that way when I make a new character, if I need one of these, I have them available, and it really helps, honestly. So definitely look to do this because it will help just, if you make new characters. So I buy about 4 or 5 of them typically, and that way, if something comes up that I do really need, or they change the script or add a new skill, we're good to go. The final place we check then is the Imperial City. The Imperial City also has a vendor that rotates week on week. This has the same rotation as the Golden, so it's Saturday, like Saturday basically, and it's on the weekend. And this person just sells a range of different things. So I would suggest, keep some Telvar. There's sometimes a good lead or two. When you get here, you want to look for the Fire and the Anvil, it's up here. And you want to go this way, and you're looking for the vendor called the Telvar Merchant. This vendor will sell jewellery that's gold, so that's a good sort of indicator, and some leads. It will change from alliance to alliance. For DC, it's this person here. This week she has jewellery. The jewellery is always bad, just always skip the jewellery. It's overpriced, you can buy it from players cheaper. But she has a lead for the music box, which doesn't affect us, and a lead for Death Dealer's Fate. Death Dealer's Feat is fantastic. It's a really, really, really good mythic. And what this does is, the longer you're in combat, you get more resources. So it's about 4,000 health, stamina, and magicka. And so that's really, really nice because it's great on sorcerers. And it just really helps you just, you know, keep in the fight, have bigger shields, and just, you know, do more damage. So the lead itself, you can find this if you go into the Anomalies in Craglorn, and it's in the reward chest. It's not the easiest to get, in all honesty, but you can get the anomalies quite simply. So if you're good at PvP and you have some Telva lying around, maybe just throw it at this. But it is a very good mythic. It's a very good, you know, lead. It's not super easy to farm. It's not super hard to like get though. It's kind of in the middle, so it's on the more difficult side. Is it worth 25k Telva? I don't know. That's a personal call. I probably wouldn't, because I'm quite tight with my Telva, in all honesty. But you can get this from the Anomalies in Craglorn, and they're quite easy to do. You just have to do a few of them. We then have some scripts. So we have Brittle, Expedition, Multi-Target, and Assassin's Misery. The Assassin's Misery is probably the best one. This basically works on Elemental Explosion, and it gives you burn and shield and concussion, more free damage. Multi-target is great for shield throw and people using that, because you can throw a shield, hit 3 people, get 3 heals. That's where you use that. The others are a bit mid, so I wouldn't spend my Telva on these. I don't think they're worth it. I'd rather save it for the scripts when they come out and the leads. But yeah, that is the week that you will sort of have. It's a bit of a mid-week. 1 or 2 good things, especially that Magma Incarnate, so do grab that. It's really, really good. I'm going to put some gameplay on screen of the Vengeance campaign, of sort of how it's going, things we've done so far. And if you want to see all this kind of stuff, I will be streaming on YouTube at 9 PM UK, so don't miss out. And we will go through the Vengeance campaign, talk about the loadouts, showing you some builds, try and do some group play if possible, or just some 1vx, which we can do, so it's really cool, and there's a lot to break down. But I'm just going to say a massive thanks for watching. Any questions, let me know down below. But until the next video or stream, take care, and bye!